Hey everybody, Hunter back again from Showtime Studios with another kit review. This time around, we're going to be doing an inbox review of the Fujimi Porsche 928 GT. And the neat thing about these kits that I like personally, these are curbside kits, and they are pretty simplified, and they are molded well, and they will build up into a very nice kit to sit in the curbside categories for any of you guys that do competitions, or for the newer guys out there that want a decent kit, and your skill level may not be up to doing all the super detailing and all that yet. These are very good kits to do that with. So we'll get this thing opened up here and we'll go through it and we'll show you what all's in the box. First off, like I say, it is a simplified kit. The thing that I really like about these kits is the bodies are pretty much all one piece for the most part. You have to add the front nose section and the rear section on, but the roof, the hood, all that stuff's molded together because this does not have an engine in it. This particular car is molded in the light green color, which is on the box art. And they actually already have the wheels and tires mounted and ready to go. They look pretty decent. The one thing I did notice I don't like that Fujimi done is they have the metal axles, and they have laid the metal axles in the same bag with the wheels. And what has happened is in shipping and over the years, they have rubbed the finish off the lip of the wheel a little bit. But that's okay because we'll be going back in with a metalizer and redoing them anyway. But that is one thing that I see that they should have bagged the axles separately, and it wouldn't have discolored the outside lip of the wheel. But easy enough to straighten out. You could actually go in and just pop the tire off the wheel, lightly sand that, and you could go in with even something like the chrome pin that a lot of people like to use nowadays, and just lightly touch that around the lip and make it look like it has a polished lip, and everything in the center of the wheel looks pretty good. But other than that, we have the wheels and tires in here, the axles are in here, and of course the body itself is all in that bag. The body looks very good. No, I don't see any sink marks or anything in it. A few injector pin marks underneath. Nothing major. I do notice that the lines are very shallow in this, so I would probably recommend going through and rescribing all of the lines to deepen them before you paint it. Let's see. Next up, we'll move on to, we have the clear parts here, which is headlights, tail lights, and a couple marker lights, and one piece for the rear hatch and the windshield and the side glass. And what I like to do in these kits is go in and do as good a job as I can on the interiors as far as detailing them up with painting and stuff. And I actually like to take the side glass out on these particular kits. But like I say, if you're doing a curbside or whatever, this is great because you can polish this out and pop it up into the body and you're good to go. So the glass is a little thick in these kits. It's not extreme, but it is definitely a little thick, and they have a little wave to them. So sometimes you need to go in and kind of wet sand that out. I have a video on polishing out glass and actually how to thin it out. And this is one of the prime candidates for that. It makes it look a lot more realistic sitting on the table. So that's the clear parts. Next up, we have the front and rear bumpers, the dash panels in here, and a few other odds and ends. The rear wing is in here. The thing I did notice about the rear wing is it has two very deep sink marks in it, which is not a good thing, but it doesn't look like it's too hard to correct. A little bit of fill-in, you should be good. The front bumper does have two fairly good sized sink marks in it, and that's because of these two pins that are right back here. Whenever you have these type of pins on a model, 90% of the time you are going to have a sink mark on the other side. So always look for that, especially the new guys out there. If you have any of these, real deep pins that are molded into the body, you will notice that there's a depression on the outside on your finish, on your bodywork part of it, that you'll need to fill and address that. And it looks like there's a little bit back here in the rear bumper cover, but nothing that can't be, taken care of with a little bit of time and a little bit of work. So that's that parts tree. Next, we will move on to this one. This has the interior pan in it. The seats are in here. Some of the suspension components, the steering wheel, and the chassis. Now, the chassis is molded very well, especially for a one-piece unit. They have the engine molded in here. The exhaust is all molded in with a simulated heat shield all the way down through it. You can see the fuel lines, the brake lines, all that stuff's molded in. Looks very nice. And the injector pin marks are on the top side of it, not over here in your detail. And there's also no writing cast into the detail. So if you go in and, airbrush some of this stuff, you can go in and actually brush some of these things, do some shadows and some washes on it, and everything will look real good. It gives you a nice detailed undercarriage for a simplified kit. So next up we have another bumper cover, and this is probably for one of the options in this particular kit. And some wheel flares here. The rotors and the calipers are on here, and just a couple other parts. There is a little bit of flash on these, not real bad, and it's nothing that can't be straightened out with, like I say, a little bit of work, and you'll be good to go, especially for the price of the kit. What do we have here? This is a decal package, which is very limited. You have a couple license plates, nothing for United States as far as license plates. So you'll have to, make your own on that or get them out of another kit, which is no big deal. But they do have the Porsche decal that goes on the body, and also the gauge cluster is in here. So decals are very limited, which is also a good thing for the newer guys out there. And next up, we'll go into the instructions. They have a parts tree call out right here. And as you can see here at the bottom, that is all the parts that are in the kit. And they shade out the ones that you don't use. And that one bumper cover that's in there, you do not use that one. But I'll have to look through the instructions to figure out why. It's got to be an option of some sort. And it gives you a little bit of description about the car, the actual one-to-one car. And then it shows you the decal placement, your painting diagram, your color call out right here. Like in this particular kit, they will say for like H1 is white. And as you go through your instructions, if you see an H1, that means that part is white. And they start out with the tires, assembling the chassis, going to the interior. Interior again, putting the tub in. And then the last part of the instructions is going through with the headlights, taillights, wing, windshield wipers, wheel flares, all that kind of stuff, and then attaching the body onto the actual chassis. So like I say, very simplified kit, but they are very nice. They're molded very well. They will take a little bit of time to address the sink marks and the mold lines and things like that. But it gives you good practice, especially for the newer guys and the beginners out there. This is a highly recommended series of kits from Showtime Studios. Like I say, I think for the newer builders, this is a perfect kit to start out with. There's a few things that need to be addressed, but you can go through and spend your time and practice on something like this. And then when you start getting a little bit more experience, you can go on to your more super detailed kits, and you should be good to go. So that is the review on the little Fujimi Porsche 928 GT. And if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, leave me a comment on the video. I'll be more than glad to help you out with that. And as always, this is Hunter from Showtime Studios, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.